Welcome to all. My name is Dr. T. Subba Reddy, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, B.V. Raju Institute of Technology. In the previous session, we discussed about introduction of exception handling. What is exception handling? Types of exceptions and hierarchy chart of exceptions we discussed in the previous session. In this session, I will discuss about how to handle exceptions with the help of try, catch, throws finally. So, in order to handle exceptions in Java, we must use the following keywords. They are try, catch, finally, throws and throw. So this is the general syntax. So we need to include mandatory the try block and catch block. The syntax is try, curly brace, open and close. So inside the try block we need to write the statements which may cause problematic error. These statements will be monitored by JVM. For each try block, we must include at least one catch block, or we can write more than one catch block also, but it will execute only one catch block. So here in syntax, n number of catch blocks we written. So inside the catch, we need to mention type of exception and object. And next finally, sometimes in try block, we need to access some resources. So after completion of task, we need to release that resources. Then another program can use that resources. So to release that resources, such type of statements we need to include inside the finally block. So block of statements which releases the resources. So first one is try block. So this is the block in which we write the block of statements. We write the block of statements which are monitored by JVM at runtime. So it contains the statements which may cause the problems at runtime. Try block includes the statements which may cause problems at runtime only. So if any exception taking place, if any exception is taking place inside the try block, the control will be jumped automatically to appropriate catch block. We can write more than one catch block for one try block. So out of n catch block, the control will go to only one catch block and it will execute only one catch block only will be executed. So if any exception taking place in try block, the execution will be terminated and the rest of statements inside the try block will not executed. Even if you use return statement inside the try block. And it is highly recommended for n try block statements, we must include n try catch block. Last one, what is the last point? For every try block, we must have at least one catch block. Next one is catch block. This is used for providing user-friendly messages. What is the definition of exception handling? It is a mechanism of converting system error messages which are generated during runtime or converted to user-friendly messages. So in a catch block, we must declare an object of appropriate exception class. Execution, this is exception class. exception class, and it will be internally referenced JVM whenever the appropriate situation taking place. The syntax is catch. So inside the catch, what we need to mention? The type of exception and the statements. Inside the catch block, we need to write the statements to convert the system error messages into user-friendly messages. Here we need to mention the type of exception. Type of exception space object name. So if you write n number of catch block, it will execute only one catch block. At any point. So after executing appropriate catch block, even if you use return statement, it never goes to try block. So this is about catch block. So what is catch block? It is used for providing user-friendly messages by catching the system error messages. Among n catch block, it will execute only one catch block. If you use return statement inside the catch block, even though it never goes to try block. Next, finally block. In try block, sometimes in some applications, we may open or access some resources. For example, Java database connection, JDBC connection, we need to create. So after usage of that Java database connection, we must release that connection. Then only our data can be safe. So for that purpose, we need to release such a type of resources in finally block only. Why? Because finally block will be executed without depending on either try block or catch block. Finally block is optional. See, this is the block which is executing compulsory, whether the exception is taking place or not. So this block contains same statements which releases the resources which are obtained in try block. So whatever the statements we used in the try block, for example, database connection opened. So we need to close the database connection in finally block. So writing the finally block is optional. Depends on the problem. We can use either finally or not. Next one is throws. So it is also a keyword which gives an indication to the calling function to keep the called function under try and catch block. Sometimes if our program may increase the number of lines, and sometimes some block of code we repeatedly executing. So such block of statements we can separate and we can write as a user defined function. So while calling that user defined function, we need to write that calling function, we must write inside the try block. Why? Because the called function may raise error. So the syntax is, already you know how to write function return type, method or function name. So inside optional arguments and followed by we need to write throws keyword and type of exception. We can write more than one exception by separating comma. See the syntax. Return type, method name, and the parameters, if any. That means optional. If your function having any parameters, you can include. Otherwise, you can leave as empty. And throws, type of exception 1, type of exception 2, and so on. We can include more than one type of exception. Okay. So this is about throws keyword. Next, throw keyword. Till now we discussed about only predefined exception rise only. Sometimes we can also raise user defined exception. As of now, automatically exception is raised. We can explicitly also we can raise an exception with the help of throw keyword. We can also raise an exception explicitly with the help of throw keyword. So for that we need to use the keyword throw keyword. So throw keyword is used to throw exception explicitly. We specify the exception object which is to be thrown. So the syntax is throw is a keyword space new space exception name and followed by we need to forward some message. It describes about the type of exception. So the exception has some message with it that provides the error description. This message must describe about the type of exception. So these exceptions may be related to user inputs and or server. These exceptions may be related to user inputs or servers, etc. We can throw either checked exception or unchecked exception with the help of throw keyword. We can throw either checked or unchecked exception with the help of throw keyword. So it is mainly used to throw the custom exception, custom or user defined, our own exception. So syntax is throw space new exception class or exception name error message. This error message must describe about the type of error. So this is about throw. So we discussed about try, catch, finally, throw, throws. Now we'll see example. Example is read any two integers. Read any two integers through keyboard and perform the division operation. Read any two integers and perform division. Read any two integers and perform division. So to store two integer variables, we need to declare two integer variables int a comma b. Okay. So we need to read the data, integer data through keyboard with the help of scanner class. So I am writing program. So class space name of the class is example. Class space example and curly bracket open and close. So inside the class I am writing main method. The syntax for main method is public static void main string argument. So again bracket open and close for method. So what is the problem statement? Read any two integers. So for that I am declaring two integer variables. We need to read two integer values through keyboard with the help of scanner class. So for that we need to import java.util.scanner class. So after that we need to create the object for scanner class. Scanner is equal to new scanner system.in. So a equal to, so to read integer with the help of scanner, we need to call the method nestInt. NestInt is a method of scanner class to read integer data. So b equal to a equal to s dot nestInt, b equal to s dot nestInt. So after reading two integer values, now we need to perform the division. So int division equal to a divided by b. So after division we need to display the output. So system dot out dot println of div variable contains the output of the division. So this is the program. Import java.util.scanner class example public static void main method. So inside the main method we need to declare two integer values, int a and b, and to read integer data from keyboard we need to use either buffer reader or input stream reader or scanner class. In this program I am using scanner class. So nestInt is a method to read integer data from keyboard. So a b. So after reading data I am performing division. Okay. So as you know, anything division by 0 is infinity. As a human being we know, but computer machine it will raise some exception. See what type of exception it will generate. So how to compile Java program? Java C space file name. So example dot Java. So no compile time errors. So no compile time error. So now I am running Java space example. So it is waiting to accept two integer values. So now I am entering 23 and 12. So it given in output as 1. This is okay. But if I am giving 0 instead of 12, we'll see what happened. So instead of 12, I am giving 0. So 23 by 0 is possible? No. So now it will raise exception, arithmetic exception. See, it write exception in thread main java.lang arithmetic exception divided by 0 at example.main java:11. So this is system error message. As we are Java developers, we can able to understand this type of errors. But for the end user or any client, he unable to understand this type of statements. So now we need to convert this system error messages into user friendly messages. If user enters 0 instead of 12 or for b variable, we need to display the message b should be 0 or anything divided by 0 is not possible. Anything divided by 0 is not possible. We need to display such a type of message. Then only user can understand. Now we will modify the program. So I am writing this after reading a value and b value. Here in this statement we are getting exception. So I am writing here. So try, what try block contains the statements which may raise the exception. So these two statements, this statement may cause the error. So for each try block we need to write at least one catch block. So for this catch block I am writing arithmetic exception. Why? Because it will raise arithmetic exception. So arithmetic exception is a exception class name and followed by object AE. Now AE contains that system error message, but we need to convert that system error message. So we know in this problem we are dividing two numbers, division of two numbers. So here we are getting divided by 0 is not possible, such type of exception. So I am converting that system error message into user friendly message dividing by 0. So system.out.println dividing any number with 0 is not possible. Then user can able to understand this user friendly message and he can execute or he can run that application again. Next time he may give proper input. Now we'll see. So here I am writing finally also. Actually not required this finally block. So system.out.println I am from finally. Like that one message I am writing. See here. First we will read two integer values, a value and b value, a value and b value. If a and b both are non-zero values, if b is non-zero value, then no problem. If b is 0, it will raise error exception in the statement, the first statement inside the try block. So it never execute the system.out.println of division. So the control automatically goes to catch block and it will execute finally block followed by finally block. Now we will see the execution. So Java C space example.java one curly brace we missed. So you check S. Main method we need to close. Main method and now again we will check. So no error. Now I am executing or running the program Java space example. So it is waiting for the input. So 23 and 12. Yes, it gives output as 1 and I am finally and the other input I am giving 23 and 0. Here it will generate system error message and we need to convert user friendly message. See what user friendly message we return. So dividing any number with 0 is not possible. So client or user, next time again he will run that application and he will give non-zero value or proper input. So this is simple example for exception handling. Now we will see another example. Same again, read two integers but pass input through command line. what is the meaning of command line? Command line means we need to pass the input during runtime. During runtime. So if you are passing input during runtime, that input will be stored in a string array, which we have mentioned inside the main method. So if you forgot to pass the input during runtime, so it will raise some error. Instead of integer, you may enter some string value. It will raise another error. If you pass two integer values, but second integer is 0, then again it will raise another exception. Okay, we'll see which type of exceptions it will raise and how to handle that exceptions. So class example 1. So public static void main string argument so two integer values int a comma b, but this time in this program the input should pass with through command line argument. So that input what we pass through command line, it will stored here arguments args string. Okay now. So int a comma b. So here whatever we passed integer, it will stored in string format. So to perform the division operation, first we need to convert that string into integer value. We need to convert that string into integer value. So a equal to integer dot pass int args of 0. We know each and every array index start with 0. So the first argument stored at argument of 0 and second integer stored at integer dot pass int of args of 1. So two integer values passed and we converted that string formatted integers into integers. Now I am performing division. So int division equal to a divided by b. So after division we need to print system dot out dot println of division. So this is basic program without exception. First we will see without exception, and after that we will modify our program into how to convert that exceptions into exception free or error free program. So example 1 dot Java. So now we see Java C space example 1 dot Java. Spelling mistake. Example example. So no errors. No, Java space example 1. So in this program we need to pass input through command line. So example 1 space. Now I am passing 12 as first argument space 3 as second argument. See 12 divided by 3 is 4. So here we got 4 as output. Now in case I forgot to pass the input through command line, so what type of exception it will raise? See, exception in thread main java.lang array index out of bound exception. So this statement it may raise. This is one type of exception. sometimes instead of passing integer, I am passing some string AE comma A space some ET. So actually this program expecting integer values, but we are passing string. So here we will get number format exception. So these two are the exceptions. Another exception, if I am passing 23 and 0, so now we will get arithmetic exception. So total how many exceptions we can expect? 3 types of exception. 3 types. So we need to write 3 catch blocks. Now we need to modify our program. So where we are getting exception? A, B and integer division. These 4 statements. So these 4 statements we need to write inside the try block. It will monitored by JVM. So try. So how many exceptions we are getting? 3 types: arithmetic exception, array index out of bound exception, number format exception. So out of 3, which type of exception first rise? First, it will rise if we are not passing any input through command line. It will rise array index out of bound exception. So first we need to handle array index out of bound exception. So first we need to write that exception only. Catch array index out of bounds exception. Next, second type exception is you passed some input through command line. If the input is not integer value, so it will rise number format exception. So next we need to handle catch number format exception. Next, user passed input through command line properly and he passed integers, but second integer is 0. In that case, it will rise arithmetic exception. So now we need to handle arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception A. So inside these 3 catch blocks, we need to display some user-friendly messages. What is the first type exception? Array index out of bounds exception. Here, what we need to include the message system.out.println pass input through command line. Okay, this is the user-friendly message. In case of number format, system.out.println pass integers only. So user must and should enter integers only. Okay, 1, 2, 3 or any natural number. If user passed 2 integer values, but the second integer is 0, in that case we will get arithmetic exception. So any number dividing or division of any number, with 0 is not possible. So this is the user-friendly message for the third catch block. See, the class name is example1 and after that we return main method, declare two integer variables, reading input through command line. The command line passed input stored in arguments which is mentioned inside the main method. If user forgot to pass the input through command line, it will raise array index out of bound exception in this line. If user passed input but instead of integer he passed either character or string, in that case it will raise error again here only, a equal to integer dot parseInt. If user passed two integer values but the second integer is 0, it will raise arithmetic exception. That exception will raise here int division equal to a by b. If you pass input properly, two integers that non-zero values, it will execute the statements inside the try block and it will never goes to any catch block. Okay. Now we will execute. So Java C space example 1.java. Yes. Arithmetic exception is a predefined class, so we need to write the first letters should be capital. So no errors. Now we need to execute. First, I am trying whether that exception rise or not and appropriate catch block will be executed or not. First, I am not passing any input through command line. For example, we are not passing any input through command line. Simply we are executing Java space example 1. So here it will raise exception, array index out of bound exception. Here the user friendly message is pass input through command line only. That message only it will display. See, pass input through command line. Next step, I am passing input, but instead of integers, I am passing some other input string. So here it generated user friendly message is pass integers only. This time I am passing 24 and 0. So here it will generate system error message is arithmetic exception. That message we need to convert as user friendly message. Dividing any number with 0 is not possible. So division of any number with 0 is not possible. Next, this time I am passing correct input, proper input 24 and 12. So 24 divided by 12 is 2. See, it given 2. So this is another example for exception handling. Now I am modifying this program. For throws keyword. So what is throws keyword? So we need to write separate called function. So here I am writing another function, void division of two numbers. So string A comma string B. Directly I am passing the input through command line. So these 4 statements I am removing here and I am pasting here. So now in this method we will get that 3 types of exceptions. So here we need to mention throws. What is first exception? Array index out of bound exception, comma, and second one is number format exception, and third one is arithmetic exception. So same program I am modifying for throws keyword. So what throws keyword? If any called function raises error or exception, we need to include the statements or calling statements inside the try block. So here I am calling that function inside the try block. What is the function? Division of, what is the input for division function? Two string values. The two string values I am taking from arguments. Argument 0, comma, argument 1. So this is enough. Only simple modification. This is example for throws example. So save as all files. File name is throws example. Now we'll see execution. What is the class name? Java C space throws example dot Java. See, we are getting 1, 2, 3, 4 errors. See where we are getting that errors. So division of argument 0. Okay. Here I am modifying little bit. So int a, int b. So int a and b. Here only now it will raise only arithmetic exception only. So directly I am performing division operation. Int division equal to a by b. A divided by b. So here I am writing that two statements. Int a equal to integer dot pass int of args of 0. Next, int b equal to integer dot pass int of args of 1. So after converting, so a comma b. Now we'll see which type of errors we will get. Throws example void throws arithmetic exception. Int division equal to a by b system dot. Okay. Now we'll see. CLS means clear screen. Still one error. Okay. See here main method is a static method. So from static method we are accessing non-static member. So here we need to modify that method as a static method. See now whether we will get error or not. So no error. Again we need to test that 3 different inputs as we discussed for the previous example. For the previous example, first I forgot to pass the input. At that time it generated arithmetic array index out of bound exception. Next we passed, instead of integers we passed another value. At that time it raised number format exception. And third one is if we are passing 2 integers but the second integer is 0. In that case it will generate arithmetic exception. Dividing by 0 is not possible. See same 3 inputs. First I forgot. So pass input through command line only. Next I am passing 2 different strings. Now pass integers only, user friendly message display. This time I am passing 24 and 0. Now dividing by 0 is not possible. Now I am passing two valid inputs 24 and 12. In this time it will generate proper output, that is 2. So this is example for throws keyword. It is an example for throws keyword. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.